their lives work out. That's what she's been about. I know she is going to continue that fight. She is going to continue to be the strong, smart woman that we're all so proud of. Please give a warm welcome to our Secretary of State, Robin Carnahan.
Robin, what are your thoughts right now?
I'm about to go give them. All right. Well, thank you all very much for being here tonight. I appreciate so much of what you've done for these many months. I have good news and bad news tonight. Let me give you the bad news first. I think you already know. We didn't win this election tonight, but there is still good news to be had. You know, as I look around here, I know that there are fights that we've been through and elections we've been through and things that we've lost that are a lot tougher than this loss tonight. And I also know that this is not the end of our journey or the end of the cause that brings us together. Because even though it's the end of this long campaign, the problems that face our country are still real and difficult. And they're not going to be gone when we wake up tomorrow. There are things that need to be fixed in this country, and there is no time to waste. Too many families are still struggling and uncertain about the future. And during these past 20 months, I've traveled around this state, and I've listened to countless stories of Missourians who tell me their struggles. And I stand here today more optimistic, despite that, than when I started this campaign. Because even despite all of these hardships, Missourians understand that we've faced tougher times before, and we've come out stronger. And my sense is that folks are ready to make a shared sacrifice to do what we know we have to do to get our country back on track. But the key of that is shared sacrifice. And what too many Missourians feel is that, unfortunately, in Washington, there's not much sharing of sacrifice. That Washington's become a place that protects the special interests, the powerful and the wealthy, and it does more for them than it does for everyday families. It's a place where partisanship far too often in politics trumps fixing what's broken. So my prayer tonight is that for those who we've elected this day, and I've included Congressman Blunt in that, I've just spoken to him, will commit themselves anew to doing better. Because to me, politics as usual is just not going to cut it. Our people deserve better, and it's our job, all of our job, to demand that. Now, I've been asked a number of times throughout the months of this campaign if I've encountered any surprises, things that I wasn't expecting. And despite having been through a few of these before myself and with my family, I will tell you I have encountered a few surprises and other things that I'm profoundly grateful for. First and foremost, to my husband, Juan Carlos. Where are you, dear? And my entire family. They have been solid and steady and steadfast and supportive every step of the way, despite the nonsense and even as they took on relentless and unfounded attacks. I thank you all for putting up with that yet again. To my campaign team, and an awful lot of them are up here tonight, you've been remarkable, not just for your talent and your focus and your tenacity, but also your good humor and your friendship. And I'm really pleased to say that after all of these months together, we still like each other. and respect each other and enjoy each other's company. And I will tell you, that is saying something as close as we've been. So thank you all very, very much for that. You know, when I started this campaign 20 months ago, I pledged to myself to enjoy the journey. And I've got to say that I've even surprised myself at how much I've enjoyed it. And sure, there were long hours and endless hours on the road, even more endless hours making fundraising phone calls and shaking hands. There were also wonderful stories of families taking care of each other, of entrepreneurs growing new businesses, of neighbors taking care of neighbors. And so despite all the media hype about people being angry this year, I got to tell you, that's not actually what I saw out on the campaign trail. Anxiety, for sure, I saw that. Uncertainty, definitely. But I also found determination and courage, something that we don't hear that much about in the press these days. And I met thousands of Missourians who were selfless and generous, kind and devoted to making their nation and their community a better place. Nearly 37,000 of them contributed to the campaign, and many thousands more volunteered their time. I'm humbled by that, and I thank you for it. I want to especially call out Betty Fay over in Kansas City. I saw her today. She finished up making her 35,200th phone call in this campaign. And Joe asked Tommy in Independence. He knocked on 100 doors every day, 7 days a week, since August, and hit 5,000 doors for this campaign. And none of these people, none of these folks gave of their time and their treasure because they expected something in return. They did it just because they believed in our cause. And as I said in the beginning, that cause continues, because the problems that face our country, they're not going away after this election. They're not Democratic or Republican problems. They affect us all. Meeting those challenges, we can't just leave to the folks in Washington. To fix what's broken in Washington, we have to all come together, people of goodwill. We have to come united with a common purpose and an uncommon sense of commitment. And so despite the disappointment that we're feeling here tonight, we do have a vitally important role. And so I want to just ask one last thing of you. And I know you're probably rolling your eyes thinking, haven't you asked enough of me? But one last thing I'd like to ask, and that is that you stay engaged, that you stay determined, that you stay committed and focused and defiant on doing what we know is right for our country and for our state. And that above all, you never, ever let the fire go out. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you.
With all of... For some reason it didn't work. Okay. Hi, good luck. Let me talk to him. Shoot. She's right here. Oh, God. Are they still rolling back at the station, guys? Okay, they're still rolling. All right. go back there, I'll bring her back, and she can talk to you guys.
She will come back?
If you guys go back there, I can bring her back too. I just don't want it to be amongst the crowd. So if you guys can go back to the riser, I'll bring her back, and she'll do one round.
Okay. All right, they're going to bring her over to us. What happened with the shot, you think?
I didn't hear it.
Well, I don't know. They tried to take us, but then it didn't work.
I didn't hear that. I heard we had you.
Yeah, it seemed like it.
Who
But
said?
then Sandy said, "I'm sorry. We'll have to get back with Michelle."
I didn't hear her. I thought we did good. Well.
All right, let's try to still get her first.
Guys, we'll go from left to right. We'll go straight down. I promise I won't skip you. If you're just patient, give me 2 seconds.
Hi, Robin. All right, great job.
Thank you.
What are you saying to your voters and your supporters at home who are at home watching this tonight?
Well, I know people are disappointed tonight, but we've got to all stay in the game. We can't leave to Washington, fixing Washington, because they're not able to do it. The powerful special interests have too much influence there, and it's time that we had our voices heard even more. So whether it's at election time or in between elections, we need to make sure our representatives know what we expect of them and hold them accountable.
Do you think there's anything you could have done different in the campaign? Many people question why you weren't more aggressive with some of those attack ads or coming out and talking about some of the things they accused you of that maybe weren't true.
Well, there's always a lot of nonsense in campaigns, and we were aggressive in every way and fought the right fight. We stayed close with Congressman Blunt in raising money, which was astounding given his background and where he raised it. We had 37,000 contributors. I'm proud of that. But in the end, when you have, $8 or $9 million coming in from Karl Rove and a lot of these unknown sources, it's hard to fight that kind of tsunami. And it didn't just happen in Missouri, it's happening all over the country. In the end, we have to decide, I think, as a society, whether we think campaigns ought to be financed in that way and whether we think just the big corporate and wealthy interests ought to have a louder voice than regular people. And this is just the beginning of that. I think we're going to see that, in the next round of elections as well. But people ought to be aware of it because it's a real problem for our country.
Do you feel like your campaign's the victim of unfortunate timing coming in a midterm election like this?
Look, life throws you all kinds of things. So I'm not second guessing that at all. You just deal with things as they come. What's unfortunate is how difficult it is for so many Missourians, and they're continuing to live with uncertainty in the economy and job worries.
Robin, given that, do you think it's possible for a Democrat to win in Missouri this year?
I think anything is possible, but I don't think it was possible when you have $8 or $9 million from outside interests come dumped in our state. If it had been a head-to-head fight with me and Congressman Blunt, I think we'd have given him quite a run at this. But it's hard when you have a lot of these outside, very wealthy interests who don't really have Missouri's interests at heart.
Thanks, guys. We're going to keep moving down the line. We're going to the folks who are waiting on the ride.